What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today will be the first video on the 03 CR250. So yeah, I'll leave the video linked up here to where we picked this thing up, and yeah, I sort of give it a nice wash up and all that and run you guys through the bike and all that, so go and check that out after this one. Today we're pretty much just going to be diagnosing the running problems with this thing. So quick backstory on it: I picked it up for $2,000 after I sold my CR450. And yeah, it's kind of running a bit weird, so it starts up and idles fine, but I just will not rev out. Could be a few different things. I have a couple of ideas what it could be, but yeah, I actually was down at my work yesterday making up a muffler delete for my ute, which you guys will see probably soon. But yeah, I actually took the bike down with me, and I put a new plug in it, and there's a bit of room down there, so I took it for a ride and stuff. So I'll actually chuck those clips in now. You guys can see that and see how it's running, and then I'll run you through what we're going to do today, see if we can fix this thing. So I also bought the CR down to my work. I actually might have someone interested in buying this thing, although when I picked it up I said I was probably going to build it and stuff, but I'm just going to try and diagnose why it's running weird. So I'm just going to change the plug and see if it might just be the plug's like fouled up or burnt out or something. But yeah, I've had an offer around $4,000, so see, we might just end up getting rid of it. So I'll chuck this new plug in and see if it changes. Oh, see, I just put that plug in and warmed it up and stuff and went down the road, and it's still doing the same thing. I took a video of it over there, so I'll put that in now, and then it just died on me, so yeah, I need to pull the carb and the reeds out and have a look at that. So I'll do that later on this afternoon at home. I've actually had a few people interested in the bike wanting to buy it off me. The offer that I'm currently sitting on is $4,000 for it. So I've sort of been talking back and forth to the guy, and if I can sort this thing out and get it all running and stuff, and then I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean up, like put new grips, do the fork seals and stuff on it. Yeah, he sounds pretty keen on it for $4,000. So yeah, we'll see if that pulls through. That is enough sort of money I can make out of it to be pretty satisfied with. So unfortunately, if that does happen, there won't be too many videos on this, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, $2,000 profit is $2,000 profit. Yeah, if he wants it for $4,000, I'm more than happy to sell it to him. So today we'll try and get this thing running better. Probably by the end of the video we will know whether or not he wants to pick it up. Yeah, if he doesn't want it in the end, still going to get stripped down, and we'll get some new parts and stuff put on it. But yeah, we'll try and diagnose it and see if we can get it all running sweet. So from those clips earlier, you would have seen I've put a fresh plug in it, and then when I originally started it up, I didn't film it. It was actually running really sweet. It was revving out and all that, and then yeah, it sort of like fouled up again. And yeah, then I took it for a couple of laps down the road, and it was like, first was bogging, second it was sort of clearing out, and then it would sort of go into power band, and the front wheel would come up, and then it would just sort of bog down again. Yeah, it was sort of just doing that continuously as I was shifting through the gears. So yeah, it's pretty much four things I've sort of come to conclusion. Spark plug being the first one. It's sort of yeah, sort of ruled that one out. So I'm thinking carburetor, reeds, or the power valves. On these CRs, they run a servo motor, which is like the actuator for these things. And apparently they had quite a few issues with them or something. And so yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully it's not that. I'm not sure how they adjust it or whatever, but it might just need readjusting or something. But I'm going to start with the more simple stuff, get the carb off, cleaned out, and while I'm there, I'm going to pull the reeds off, make sure they aren't cracked or anything. And then if that's the case, we might have to look into this servo motor and see. Fuck you guys up on a time lapse, and we'll get pulling the subframe and airbox and stuff off, so we get better access to the carburetor. Right, before I pull the reeds out, the reason I think it may be the reeds, about 2 years ago, my mate had a KX85 and it was doing the exact same thing, or very similar anyway, and he ended up blowing it up one day, and then it sat in his shed, and then I ended up buying it off him, fully pulling the motor apart, getting all the frame powder coated and stuff. If I find a photo, actually I'll chuck it up, and the video of the walk around. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it was actually the reeds that blew it up. Obviously it was just leaned it out and then just went bang. So yeah, it's why I have a feeling it may be the reeds on this. So yeah, I'll weld the carbs out just when I pull them out, and yeah, just double check and make sure these reeds are still good. Right, just this last bolt, and then these reeds will pop out. I just chuck them all up on the bench and then we'll have a good look at them. Alright, are you guys ready to see something pretty impressive? On the bench here I've got the carb, and then like the manifold part, and then the reed block. So yeah, I'll show you what we are working with. Firstly, the carb. Haven't actually opened it. All the slide and all like on the inside of the intake and stuff, that looks pretty clean. I'll still pull the jets off. The manifold. It's pretty good. It doesn't have any cracks, anything in it. It's got a little bit of like splitting there, but it hasn't gone all the way through. It's just like the outside. But as I said before, so reeds look alright from this side, but check this out. That is a huge hole in the reeds. Like, I'm very surprised this thing was still running the way it was, like that. So obviously, if you guys don't know how reeds work, these pretty much vibrate. You're letting fuel and air pass into the motor, and obviously after time, if they're not replaced enough, yeah, stuff like that starts to happen. Yeah, it's just snap that pedal clean off. So all it would have been doing is just not sealing off properly, and it was just still allowing fuel to be pumped in. And yeah, that's probably why when it was cold it was running better, because obviously when it's cold it likes more fuel. But as soon as it got warm, yeah, it just is definitely not enjoying revving out. So now the biggest concern is the internals of the motor. Hopefully it sucked it straight through and then it's just pumped it straight up the exhaust port, and it hasn't been bouncing around inside or scraping up the piston and cylinder walls, etc. But yeah, that's a bloody good effort. So yeah, that 85 I done. There were some carbon V-Force 3 reeds in it, and it had just chipped off the corner. Definitely nothing like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm very surprised it was running like that, to be honest. Alrighty, so over the last week, I've been having a think about what I want to do with the CR in regards to rebuilding the motor and stuff. So I was just thinking about getting some new reeds, yeah, throwing the reeds in and just leaving it like that. But yeah, I thought I'd better sort of do it properly, and then I can sort of ask what I want for it, and then be sort of comfortable selling it for what I want for it, and then yeah, have it not come back and bite me in the ass. So yeah, I'm going to pull the top end off it, and then yeah, I can measure the piston, then order up the parts, and then hopefully we don't find any hidden surprises inside the motor. So this is how the bike is sitting currently. Haven't changed anything since earlier in the week when we pulled it all apart. So to allow access to the top end, you're going to have to pull the tank off, radiators probably, and then you disconnect a few things like the power valve and stuff, and then we can pull the head and cylinder off and yeah, have a good check over, like I was saying. Not too sure what I'm going to do with the reeds, whether I'm going to order a new whole block, like an aftermarket reeds, like V-Force or something, or if I'm just going to buy some new pedals. But obviously I'm new to the CRs and stuff. I know some of them have like a little plastic triangle part that goes on the inside here. I'm not sure if that's what's actually caused it, or it's just allowed it to overextend and that's what snapped it, or whatever. But if you guys know, can you leave a comment down below, please? Yeah, about if there's meant to be anything else in the reed block assembly, just so it doesn't happen again. But yeah, I might end up just going for like V-Force 3 reeds or something and chucking them in it. Alrighty, so I'm ready to lift the head off now. Got all the bolts undone and the radiators off and stuff. So I'll set you up and we'll lift it off. Alrighty, so here's a look at the head. Looks like it's been refinished the top. It's been like decked. The actual dome has a few like dings in it, but they're not actually they're not protruding. So it'll still be sweet to run. So now I'll just get the cylinder bolts undone and then we can lift the cylinder off. Alright, I should have everything disconnected now to lift the cylinder off, hopefully. Alright, so just got the cylinder off. Yeah, I think we may have lucked out on this one. It's definitely not as bad as I thought it was originally. Spin the camera and you guys can have a look at the cylinder and piston. Okay, well here's the cylinder. So I definitely think this, when it was rebuilt, it's had the cylinder machined and replated and all that. Because you can see here on the top it's quite shiny. And also the colour of the cylinder, like the outside, is different to the colour on the actual motor. So yeah, usually when they do them, they vapor blast or bead blast them or something. So that kind of gives it away. But not sure how well you guys are going to be able to see this. There you go. So you can see all the cross hatching and stuff still on it. It looks like there's some vertical scoring.
but yeah, it's actually nothing there all the way around. And then yeah, all the bridges and stuff look good. So yeah, we may have got lucky with this one. So yeah, that's the cylinder, so that's definitely reusable, and I feel very confident with that. So yeah, we won't have to do any work to that, which is good because that gets very expensive quickly. Then over here on the piston, so the piston's actually still in pretty good nick. Definitely got some vertical scoring here on the skirts, but yeah, to be honest, it's actually not much. Yeah, definitely thought it was going to be a bit worse. All the rings are loose, so it didn't catch a ring or anything. And then looking at the top of it, yeah, just a little bit of like build up on top, but you know, scoring or anything. And then the crank, it's Hot Rod's crank. Yeah, and this thing's super tight, so it's definitely had a rebuild. So it's got a little bit of side to side, as you'd expect, but no up and down whatsoever. So yeah, it's pretty good news. And then yeah, like I showed the head before, just that little bit of pitting and stuff, obviously from something previous bouncing around. But yeah, definitely nothing you'll catch with your finger or anything. It's all like in, so yeah, it's not going to be an issue. So I'm very stoked with the outcome of that. This bike was quite a big gamble, to be honest. Yeah, buying it sort of running not quite right, and then when you're buying these bikes, what comes out of the previous owner's mouth is not always true. So it's good that he's sort of being quite honest and stuff. It makes my life a bit easier and all that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that it's just going to be new piston and rings, throw it in, and then get a new reeds and stuff. Then you will break it in and chuck a few new parts on and she'll be sweet. So yeah, I just need to pull that piston out, we can measure it, and then this week we'll order up some parts. So here's a better look at the piston. So yeah, definitely not as bad as I originally thought, considering yeah, it sucked that piece through. So obviously it must have just pulled it straight through and spat it out the exhaust, which is our best case scenario really. So it's yeah, huge bonus. So now I just get the calipers and give it a measure. So it's a size B piston, so I should just be able to order a new size B, but I just want to measure it and then I can compare it to the new one just to double check, make sure it's going to be the right one. I just gave it a quick measure with the verniers, so it's about 66 mil, but I'll take it to work tomorrow and give it a proper measure. But then we can order up some parts and then we'll get it all refreshed. Right, so yeah, it's pretty much the best outcome we could have gotten out of a pretty shitty situation. But yeah, it's pretty much a matter of ordering up some new parts, and then when they come in, we can get it all put back together. But otherwise, it is pretty much going to wrap up the first video on the CR250 build. It's still up in the air what is happening, whether or not that guy's buying it or not. But I'm still going to carry on, rebuild this thing, and then yeah, if he ends up wanting it. But yeah, it's pretty much going to wrap it up, and I will see you guys in the next video.